If you just got a Cricut EasyPress and you don't know where to start, this video is for you. I'm going to walk through everything step by step and making a t-shirt. I just want to say thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and let's get into the video. I'm using the Cricut EasyPress SE, but this will apply to pretty much any EasyPress model. Cricut has a few different EasyPress options: the original EasyPress, EasyPress 2, EasyPress 3, and the one I'm using, the SE. They all pretty much do the same thing. The main difference is the EasyPress 3 that connects using Bluetooth while the others don't. If you're brand new to this, the Cricut EasyPress is basically a large handheld heat press for personalizing things like t-shirts, sweatshirts, blankets, pillows. It kind of combines the speed of a traditional heat press with the convenience of an iron, but it gives you way better results than an iron would. You can use an iron, but it doesn't give consistent heat like an EasyPress does. A traditional heat press is great, but it is larger, bulkier, and can be a little more pricey. So I do love the EasyPress. It's portable, lightweight, and it's super beginner friendly. But a quick note, if you're using something like Puff HTV that needs really heavy pressure, this will struggle with that since it's handheld. Most materials don't need that level of pressure, so it's not a huge downside for everyday projects. This has a ceramic coated heat plate, so you're getting really even heat across your entire design, which is what helps everything stick well and last through washes. I got the slate blue color and I really love it. This is a 12 by 10 inch size. This is the one I personally recommend, especially for t-shirts. They have a 9 by 9, but that feels kind of small and doesn't always cover your designs, so you have to press it twice. Now let's look at the controls. It's really easy to use. That's the power button to turn it on and off. Next is the temperature button. You can adjust it using the plus or minus. You can hold the temperature button down to switch between Fahrenheit and Celsius. The bottom button is the time, so you'll press that, then you can adjust it again with the plus or minus. The orange light means it's heating up, and it'll turn green when it's ready. It comes with an auto shut-off feature, which is really nice for safety. It just automatically turns off if it's been on too long. I'm on the home screen in Cricut Design Space. When making a t-shirt, you have a couple options here. You can click Iron on T-shirt and select which one you're using, or Custom Iron on T-shirt. But personally, when I do this, I like to just go into a blank canvas. You can pick images from Cricut Design Space. Down at the bottom, you can click Advanced Search and search from tons of images. If you have Cricut Access, you have tons to choose from. I like to bring in my own images a lot of the time, so I am going to go over to a different website. I'm over on Creative Fabrica. This is where I get tons of fonts and SVGs and PNG images for like print and cut. This is the design I'm going to use today. I'll just hit download. I'm on a Mac, so it'll pull up in the top right corner. I'll just select it and it'll automatically unzip this file. If you have a Windows, I think you have to right-click on the file and hit unzip. Once you do that, you'll have a PNG image and an SVG image. PNG is best for print and cut. You can't work with this as much, but if you are cutting out vinyl, you'll want the SVG file. This typically gives you multiple layers and you're able to work with it a lot more. I'm back in Cricut Design Space and I'll click Upload. Then I'll click Upload Image. It pulls up my Downloads folder, so now I can double click on the SVG and bring it into Cricut Design Space. And here we have it. It'll pull it in as a basic cut, which is what we want. Over here in the layers panel, this actually only has one layer, but a lot of times they have more. Let me just pull in one from Cricut Design Space. If you look over in the layers panel, you can see that this is highlighted green and it has this little dash. If you click on that, you can see this has 3 layers. It's grouped together so you can move it all together, but you can click ungroup. Then you can separate these. This is nice if you want to change colors or make some different sizes. But in today's video, I'm just doing one vinyl and I'm doing black to make it easy. If you were doing multiple colors, you'd want to change it up here. I'm putting this on a size medium shirt. I will typically do 9 inches for that. To size designs for t-shirts, I almost always go off of the width, so I will double click and type in 9. I make sure this is locked and I let it automatically do the height, otherwise it'll be disproportioned. Now I can click make. It pulls it onto the prepare screen. I don't need to do anything on here. I'll hit continue. I am using Caesar heat transfer vinyl. I'm not using Cricut iron-on, but the everyday iron-on setting works the best for that. And when I click it, you'll see that it'll automatically mirror my design. So you can see that little message here, and to the left, that is toggled on. This is a somewhat recent update. In the past, you would have to remember to click that. I love that change because I forgot all the time and I would completely waste material. I do like this section. It tells you what tools and material to load. So all we need is the fine point blade for this and we should be ready to go. I'm using Caesar Easy Weed for my heat transfer vinyl. It needs to be placed carrier sheet side down, which is also the shiny side down. The vinyl has a clear sheet that's connected to it. That's called the carrier sheet, and it'll keep your design in place. Now you'll want to load the mat into the Cricut machine, press it under those guides, and hit the arrow button. It'll check the length of the mat. I like to just place the whole roll on there. I find it easiest to just do that. The start button will blink. You can press that, and the Cricut machine will cut out the design. I wanted to tell the difference between HTV and iron-on quickly. That just depends on what the brand it is. So Cricut calls it iron-on, but brands like Caesar call it heat transfer vinyl and for short HTV. There's lots of different brands that sell heat transfer vinyl. Cricut's okay, but I prefer brands like Caesar, HTV Ront, and Tech Wrap Craft. I forgot to mention all the different things that EasyPress can press. It can, of course, do iron-on and heat transfer vinyl, but it also heats up to 400 degrees, so it can do things like infusible ink and sublimation projects, and I just recently pressed DTF transfers, and that worked really well too. When it's done, the arrow button will blink. I'll press that to unload the mat. To remove the vinyl, I like to bend my mat backwards. That way you're not messing with the vinyl too much. I cut around my design and save those pieces in my scrap bin. Then I can go in and weed out my excess vinyl. This design had quite a bit of detail. It wasn't too terribly intricate, but it did take me a little bit more time to weed it. I recommend a lighted weeding tool. It makes it so easy to see the cut lines. I find weeding heat transfer vinyl so much easier than adhesive vinyl. I really like this design, and just doing black is kind of fun. I like how it looks. Cricut recommends pre-washing the shirt to remove any chemicals and prevent shrinking. To be honest, I never do that and I haven't had any issues, so that's totally up to you. T-shirt is 100% cotton. It can press other material like 100% polyester or a blend. You'll want the Cricut EasyPress mat. This is essential to press into. If you don't have one, you can use a towel, but I do recommend getting one. It makes it so much easier. To figure out my setting, I like to go to the Cricut heat guide. I'll just press whatever machine I'm using. Then I'm going to select Everyday Iron-On. Even though I'm not technically using Cricut Iron-On, this still works. I'll select my base material, which is 100% cotton. It'll automatically select the Cricut pressing mat. I'll hit apply. Then it'll tell me my temperature and time. It also says firm pressure, and it gives a little step-by-step process here as well. I set my time and temperature. I also timed how long it took to heat up, and it was around 2.5 minutes. I feel like that is pretty fast. Now I'm ready to preheat my shirt. I always like to find the center at the same time. So I fold it in half. Then I press over it for about 5 seconds. This will remove any moisture in the shirt. That way the vinyl will adhere better. It'll have a line going directly down the center, so I love this technique for centering my design. I also use a t-shirt ruler, which makes it so easy. To find the center of my design, I fold it in half and make a little crease at the very top. I make sure the area's flat and smooth, then I'm ready to press the shirt. I don't move the heat press around at all, I just hold it in place, and I try to make sure that it's covering the whole vinyl. I also try to press it pretty firmly. Depending on what type of vinyl you're using, some are cold peels and others are warm peels. For a cold peel, you have to wait for it to completely cool down, otherwise it won't work. But for a warm peel, you can pretty much do it right away. I do recommend doing this slowly to make sure everything pressed down well. I think it turned out great. I put some care instructions on the screen. If you want to go a step further, you can let it air dry, and I find the vinyl lasts longer, but it does fine in the dryer too. That's it for today's video. If you found it helpful, give it a thumbs up. I would also love it if you subscribed if you're new to my channel. I have so many fun Cricut projects coming up. I actually have like multiple projects waiting for me, so hopefully I can get those posted soon. Hit that notification bell so you won't miss my next upload, and I'll see you in the next video.